Good morning, developers. If you are new to the channel, my name is Rob, and it is CS Thursday, the day that we focus on the theory behind our craft. And today that leads us to talk about regular expressions. They are an insanely powerful tool that every developer needs to be able to wield. And this is going to be a non-coding video. I want to focus just on the idea of patterns and how they work, and that will set us up for a coding video. I will link it in the description when it is ready. That is how I learned after avoiding them for a really long time. So if you're like me at all before I knew how they worked, they are terrifying. Maybe you have some notion that they search for text, or maybe they replace, or maybe they find and replace, or something like that. And you're in a situation where you have to validate something. Maybe user input, you've got to find something. You've got a big long log file, and you've got a loop. At least I remember occasion where I had like a 30-line loop, and it didn't work, and it was ugly. And so I start looking around, and I hit Stack Overflow, and it's obvious I have to use a regular expression, right? Maybe the chatbot is telling you that in modern terms. And it's a little humiliating because your 30-line loop, which doesn't work, can be replaced by like 7 characters, which is a regular expression. But because you can't read it, you copy it, you paste it, and you hope that it works. And if it does, you forget about it. And I will say, in my experience, that's really dangerous, because if you can't read it, it might not quite work all the time. Like, it might include or exclude certain stuff that, again, you don't know. And so this is so important, because searching for text, that kind of work is so common, and this is not above you. It is scary, I will give you that. But it's only scary because it's ugly. And it's only ugly because it was made by a mathematician. And I don't have anything against mathematicians. It's just that he was prioritizing function over form. And that's exactly what we need here. We want this to be insanely fast. That's exactly what we got, but it means you have to put a little bit of extra time in to get past that scary hump. Just like everything in development, just like code from its very beginning. So like I said, I want to start on just some basic pattern ideas, and then we'll move into the coding part of it. Some quick background on where they came from and what it is. Regular expressions are not a programming language. It is something that the programming languages implement. It is a series of patterns that we can use to match text. And so they are, as we already referenced, they're used very common in programming to look through text, to find, and then also usually to replace with based on the certain patterns, and we'll talk about that. I use it in my text editor all the time if I want to loop through and remove, maybe convert all the tabs to spaces, or get rid of every time I've got 2 return carriages in a row, something like that. You can use regular expressions for that. They're used in lexical analysis, so like interpreters or compilers. So your Java, your JavaScript, your Python, that is English text that has to be converted. Well, the compiler or the interpreter can cruise through and immediately get rid of all the white spaces, because those don't matter in programming. You can get rid of all the return carriages or the new lines, because again, those don't matter. Maybe you look for these 2 particular characters in a row, because if that ever happens, this needs to occur. Something like that. Okay? They are used commonly in search engines, really anything and everything that has to do with digital version of text. And it was created, as I said, by a mathematician in the early 50s, I think 1951, and it slowly drifted into computer science until in 1968, a guy named Ken Thompson. If you don't know who he is, you should look him up, because he has done some incredibly important things for computers in general, for computer architecture. He co-created Unix, which led to Linux. He created Golang. He created grep, a whole ton of stuff. Go search for him. But in 1968, he added it to one of his text editors, and eventually it found its way into Unix. And as kind of a fun Easter egg, /G is the regular expression way to say global. So normally, a regular expression will only match the first time it hits a match in a given programming language. Well, /G says find all of them. RE stands for regular expressions, and in this particular editor that Ken Thompson was working in, /P meant print. So go find me everything. I'm going to give you a regular expression and then print it off. I don't know if you can see it or if you even know what it is, but grep is another really powerful command line tool that uses regular expressions to search through text and files and so on. So kind of a fun Easter egg. That's where grep comes from. Global, regular expression, print. How do they work? Well, let's start off this way. Let's say you have some text, and we'll just use the word hello. Without coding, and without necessarily even knowing what I mean, try and think of what are some patterns in that word. What are some things that you as a human could look at that and say, here's a pattern and that matches it. Okay, just to get you started. The letter H, right? The letter H matches. That pattern can be found in the word hello. If I said, is the word H in there? You would say, hopefully, yes. Okay, the letter E. That pattern matches as well. Is the letter E in there? It is. What about E and then two L's? That's also a match. Okay? What if we said something a little more generic like any four letters? That qualifies, right? We've got 5 letters there. You could pick the H-E-L-L or you could pick the E-L-L-O. Okay? We could go out to 5 letters. We could go to 2 letters, whatever you want. Maybe we say something like any 2 non-digits. Meaning we want to go and find in here anytime we have 2 characters in a row that are not digits. Okay, we've got that with H and E, we've got that with E and L, we've got that with L and L, and we've got that with L and O, right? We keep going. Maybe you want to say it ends with L-O. That matches, right? It ends with the letters L-O. We could add to that L-L-O, or we could just ends with O. Maybe you want to do something like it starts with H. Or again, maybe H-E. Take your pick. You get the idea. Lots of ways to think about this. What if you wanted to say any 2 characters? Like, I don't care what they are. Just 2 somethings. Yes, we have a match there. Okay? In contrast to that, let's change it up here and let's have as another option, let's have the word help. And then after that, let's have as another option here, the number 1, 2, 3. Okay? Hello works for everything there. Help would qualify here. We would have H and we would have E. It does not have E-L-L. That's not going to qualify because it does have an E, but it doesn't have the L-L. Any 4 letters, yes, we have the word H-E-L-P. That works. Any 2 non-digits. Well, we'd have H and E, E and L, L and P, so that would qualify. I'll just put H-E here. Ends with L-O. That does not qualify. It doesn't end with L-O. Starts with H. It does. Any 2 characters we'd have, once again, H and E, same pretty much as up here, and they're non-digits as opposed to regular digits. What about 1, 2, and 3? Okay? Nope. It doesn't have the letter H, and it doesn't have the letter E. What about E-L-L? Nope. What about any 4 letters? Nope. What about any 2 non-digits? Nope. Doesn't end with L-O. Doesn't have H. It does have 2 characters in it. It has the number 1 and 2 or the number 2 and 3. Okay? So that is sort of the basics behind how to think about regular expressions or how to think about patterns. Now, not going to implement, just going to draw, but just to kind of get you ready. These can be expressed in regular expressions with a particular pattern, and it's always this in every language. At least I don't know of another implementation. There might be one out there, I don't know. But any 2 characters, okay, we have in regular expressions the dot or the period. And the dot is the wild card, meaning anything or any character. So in order to write this particular expression, any 2 characters, you would have 2 dots. And that means, I don't care what it is, the only thing that wouldn't qualify for this would be the empty string or a string with a single character in it, or a word, right? 2 dots means 2 of anything, and we've got there, and there. Okay, they've got to be in order because that's a different pattern if you wanted to grab like the H and the O or something like that. Okay, so that's one. any 4 letters and any 2 non-digits. Well, for our any 2 non-digits, we use a backslash when we're writing our regular expressions. Slash G is a little bit different, and we'll get to that a little bit later on. But a backslash capital D means a non-digit. So it could be a letter, but it could be the ampersand, it could be a hyphen, it could be a period, etc. Right? I don't care what it is, it just can't be a digit. So in this case, only any non-2 digits, it would be backslash D, capital backslash D. Again, those are capital. So that would qualify there. Any 4 letters, well, you can pick a specific. Let's actually come up here. Specifically in H, you use bracket notation, so it looks like that, an H in brackets. If you wanted specifically in E, you would do that. If you wanted to say, I specifically want E, L, and L, you would have what we have there, where you would have an E followed by an L followed by an L, and that will guarantee it. This is more supposed to be 2 separate ones, right? Any 4 letters, well, there's a variety of ways to do that, but I'm gonna grab a range here. You can do brackets, and inside of there, we can say I want A through Z, capital letters, and then you could add to that lowercase letters as well. Ends with LO. We have a regular expression where we can do LO, and then you can put a $sign, and that will say I want LO at the end of the word, and then it would disqualify help. In the case of starts with, you can use what's called the hat. I guess I've always called it a caret, the little up arrow thing. We could put a caret with an H in front of it, and that would qualify us there. Okay? Now, I'm hoping that you're seeing the power here and why you should learn. We can be really general. We can be really specific. There's a bunch I didn't give you, like this character can show up, but doesn't have to. This character has to be 3 times in a row. This one has to show up at least once, but can show up more than that. Whatever it is, you've got zillions of options to create exactly the regular expression you need, and it is lightning fast. This should put you or put us in a good place to where we can go on and actually start coding them out. I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good one.